Yo, 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 what's up, YouTube? Welcome in, welcome back. Episode 24, our last show of 2024, and we should, fingers crossed, be hitting small today, and then we'll start off 2025, new year, new size company, new TV show, one monthly event, a whole new structure, schedule. Should be quite exciting times, but we essentially have our last two kickoff Carnage shows here in December. One thing I did not mention last episode with the new influx of essentially the raid, you could say, from Canada, is Graham Gorman essentially came to me backstage in a roundabout way, demanded to be made chief enforcer. He does have decent respect and toughness, so I just gave it to him because I thought, in the back of my head, I just thought to myself, I'm not pissing this guy off on his first night, and I don't really care about this right now. I feel like every time I look, there's not really ever anyone suitable. I don't actually think Graham is a suitable candidate for the chief enforcer, but I mean, I either give it to him and don't really care going forward, or I don't give it to him and potentially mess up his morale. So I just, yeah, we just gave it. We just gave it up. And also, Bowden, who's the last of the Canadian guys to debut. We've seen Kamikaze, we've seen the tag team guys, we've seen Ant-Man as well. Um, but we have another youngster here who we haven't seen yet. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because I noticed he has decent star quality, but it's a shame when the charisma doesn't match. He is only 22, very green, but we're sticking with the theme. As you know, we're trying to build our own stars, and Bowden is already a pretty good high flyer. For 22, he's really good, but more so because he is actually, pardon me, he's actually the protege of Grim Quibble, who's one half of the tag team with Graham Gorm, our chief enforcer. So I thought that was a pretty cool add on. It almost sort of lured me even more to actually bring him in now because I wasn't actually going to, even though he looked pretty good, Bowden. But then I thought to myself, why not? It makes sense. So that's a pretty neat touch, to be honest. We aren't really going to mess around today. We're going to run our two shows, and then to end the episode, we're going to do. I'll try and do it as quick as I can, just a little recap on the promotion, like where we're at, what creative thinks of our stars, how our guys' popularities are advancing now that we're on Wrestle World. Maybe have a look at the contracts, who we're actually paying the most money to, just little things like that. Hopefully, it won't take too long. If we can blast through these two shows, we'll have more time to get it done without the episode becoming too long, I guess, which probably puts people off watching it. Tonight's venue, we have less fans expected than before, which is fine. I'll still take it. 800 odd. Let me actually try to remember this. 842 was the last show. Right, okay. 842. Remember 842, guys. Remember 842. Use Wrestle World. Booking team, stored ideas. I've been starting to get gimmick ideas in because, well, yeah, it's sort of inevitable coming up soon. In the first couple months of next year, I'll need to try and fix some of the gimmicks because we have a few that are rated pretty poor. Right, we are full on generation, so we need creative finishes. Big gamble? No. Come on. Don't do this to me. Davis Wayne Newton likely to succeed, okay. A safe bet, okay. Let's try one more. Come on. A safe bet's pretty good though. A big gamble, we're not keeping that. Fuck it, I'm just using all of it. I don't care. Okay, we got two safe bets with no restrictions, fine. Okay, fine, that's fine, that's fine. We need to actually add someone into this because whenever our creative energy goes to zero, in 1 month it doesn't regenerate right back up to 250. Yeah, after the penalties and stuff. So if we have a fifth member, one of those two very good booking skilled recruits we got recently, That'll definitely do the job. Pepper Pelton has turned up and asked that you might be able to use him. You've turned up before, I'm pretty sure. I mean, no, his fundamentals are not great. I mean, no. Our roster's huge at this point, like I mentioned before. Maybe next time. Yeah, our roster's so bloated. We don't like. We literally don't. We don't. Nah, just no. There's no point. 7 students now for architect. How that changed so quick. It went from 1 student when we first assigned him to the head trainer, and now he's got 7. With obviously Bowden, Snoop, and the tag boys being added in. In fact, only Calder tags here. Oh no, there's Wilfie there. Jesus Christ, I'm blind. Lachlan and Blue Dragon getting on well. That's good. And okay, that was nice, short and sweet. Addressing the locker room. Should we try team bonding? Even though Logan and Sasquatch are still not. Let's do it. It's been so long. Why not? Okay, it did. Between Sasquatch and the Historian is that's quite funny. His faction teammate and him and Blue Dragon. It created new tensions, but everyone else seems to be on the up. Me and Papa Swole. Okay, fine. Pre-show's done, so let's book this show and get this episode going. Basically. All right, we're back. We're ready to rumble for the first time ever. We actually have pre-show matches because I wanted to get these guys a bit more exposure, even if it's on the pre-show, because I can't really fit everything in the main show. Not for it to make sense, essentially. But anyway, let's see if how much. I think we got 842 attendance last show, and it seemed to be a bit of a drop tonight. Okay, yeah, so about 30-ish fans, give or take. Which I wonder why. Maybe the wrestling industry's dropping. We have had some shows where it goes down rather than up, but never by this much. But not to worry. This show essentially should take us to small size, but in the meantime, let's go over the card. We have another debut on the pre-show. Bowden Snoop. The preppy annoyance gimmick gets a great rating, so I won't complain about that. Rating wise, he's the weak link, essentially. Brings in a 30. Kamikaze on his second match gets a 40. He also wins the match. This fatal 4-way. Colour commentator and our announcer gives it a boost. Nothing too out of the ordinary. Zippy being the weak link, 35. These guys are maybe not so much Kamikaze because he's new, but in terms of like our guys who are green or not quite over or average, the lowest ratings, these are 4 of those culprits. So I thought I'd blast them all in a match together for the experience, some exposure, and just to gauge where they're at right now. I mean, Aiden Nelson's not. He's like 35. He's just not over at all here, and he has no momentum from how we booked him. But he's not. He's actually not bad, to be honest. The gimmick gets no pros or cons, which honestly, after our last couple gimmicks and our luck with it, I'll take it. To be honest, I'll take it all day long. 40 rating ain't bad. And then our last pre-show match, we have a tag match. We haven't seen Young and Wasted in a little bit with everything else going on. We obviously, out of our tag team tournament, they're the only tag team I decided to sign in a written deal. As I mentioned, they're young, a lot of room for improvement, and they show why. They actually bring in a really good rating here. 58 for Taylor, 51 for Brett. Our new boys, obviously, Grim and Graham, they are very good, but it'll take a little bit of time for us to build them up, build their popularity up. But good one for Young and Wasted. Keep their momentum strong, build their popularity. I like them a lot there. I think one of them, I can't remember which one, but one of them is actually pretty okay on the mic, if I'm not mistaken. Also because it's a pre-show, I'm just noticing the crowd heat at the end is like, I feel like I've never noticed this before. It's never usually like that. But we're starting the show now. The main show begins. We took a bit of a gamble on this now. Looking at it straight away, we It's actually not bad because the segment rating of 53 is a solid start to the show. It gets the crowd hotter, show off to a strong start. We can't complain, and it's basically the tag team champs in the office with myself, Craig Prince, and he brings in their new number one contenders, the guys who have been crushing it, very much deserve a shot, and it's Clark and Perry, the Minnesota Awesome. None of these guys essentially can speak on the mic, so I put it on character development, which must put charisma into effect. Because Perry Longstaff has came out of this looking good, which is not a note you really see often for guys who aren't really over performance wise. But as I mentioned before too, Clark and Perry are like popping. They're major stars essentially. Very, very good. And myself, basically announces this will be next show. Tag team titles on the line. But tonight, any one of you are going up against each other at your own choosing, 1v1. And that's booked in. But we obviously don't know yet who's picking who. Yeah, Clark and Perry really enjoyed the freedom. This is a huge L for the tag champions here, and a huge W for the number one contenders. But 53, considering we just threw this in here, it was like a throw of the dice. It could have been a lot worse. 53 is way more than enough for a good segment. Then we have the Ant-Man. He's back after his debut loss, answering Papa Swole's open challenge. He gets a win here against Marco, brings in a 45, gets the crowd hotter. It does its job. 46 rating, keeps us building Ant-Man. As I mentioned as well, I'll mention it again, the likes of Ant-Man and Kamikaze are really good additions to the faces of the promotion. So this does the job. 46 for Ant-Man. Good stuff. Then we have a three-way tag match, which turns out pretty decent. This was also to get old faces on the card who we've not seen in a little bit. Hot Property, we got Cobra and Jules, and then the sort of, you could say random tag team up with Stevie and Josh. And it's Cobra and Jules who beat Hot Property and Josh Jacobs and Stevie. Hot Property was eliminated first, and then Josh Jacobs and Steve Stanley next. Cobra and Jules take a win. And of course, you can see here from the stats, they are the top performers. Hot Property, who got eliminated first, pretty much at the bottom. Fairly even though, low 40s, and then of course low to high 50s for Cobra and Jules. I actually really like Cobra, like I've mentioned before. I'm not sure how beneficial I see him teaming up with Jules will be in terms of pushing for titles. Who knows though? They do have excellent chemistry and they are good. They are both good. Jules is just, he's a little plain, He's one of those guys, he's good in the ring but not really good at much else. He's just a good worker, which they're sort of the unsung heroes really, so I won't criticise him too much, to be honest, because we all need those. 55 though, really good. Into a 52 segment. I tried to involve everyone in this, and it's took a small downfall. Architect was a real star in this segment. He's probably carried this to a 52, but it's essentially the blueprint backstage in the locker room, going over, Sandman's kind of shouting at the Architect, but not really, because he knows better. Architect's like, he's the guy, but he's basically asking him, what happened last show, of course. They had the opportunity to win the tag team titles, but Sasquatch didn't show up to help. Architect didn't show up to help. And Architect just says, look, I already have it sorted. You don't need to worry. Alright? I needed to keep Sasquatch fresh because right after your match, I'm fighting to defend what we have, defend our belt. I couldn't risk coming out and getting hurt by some fluke. Obviously, no one out there is going to hurt me or Sasquatch, but there might be a fluke. We don't necessarily have to come out. We thought you had it under control, but you didn't. It's fine. It's okay. The main thing for us is that we keep this title. So Architect essentially is his no maybe not his ego is getting the better of him, but he's kind of seen tunnel vision. You know, it's all about him and only him. And Sandman Winks in his story and are kind of getting the feeling that they're just his little like leckies, his little chess pieces that he's using. It's not quite coming across that way, but there's definitely some tension. But he says it's nothing to worry about because we're together. We're teaming together for the main event tonight. Me, you, he points to Sandman, and Historian, all three of us, and we'll show why Blueprint's the best. So don't even worry. Don't even worry about the tag team titles. We'll get them. We'll get them. Don't even worry. It was the most important thing is the belt, and the belt was on the line, so we had to defend it at all costs. So interesting. Of course, Architect now has a hot catchphrase, which will have helped. Sandman actually improvised pretty good, but Historian and Sasquatch did not at all. Then, of course, one half of the tag team champs, Blue Dragon, against one half of the number one contender, Perry Longstaff. Superb wrestling, great heat. Of course, their tag team partners are ringside, but we had Perry. He beats the tag team champ, Blue Dragon, by pinfall, following interference from Clark Smallbone. But during the match, we also saw Hangman run in and attack Longstaff, as well as Clark distract Blue Dragon. So you can essentially know there's a lot of drama in this match, a lot of back and forth. Both guys are just trying to get one up on each other. Their tag team partners are trying to do everything they can to help, but ultimately, in a 57 rated match, it's the number one contenders who get one up over the tag champs. Going into obviously our last show in December, last show of the year, it's going to definitely be a hard challenge for the tag team champs to not fall to the Minnesota Awesome, to be honest. But here we go, mate. I think this is the main event coming up next. No, it's not actually. It's the intro for the man we haven't seen since he lost his title chance. DWN, the big man himself, cuts a promo, essentially hyping up the crowd. His intro before his match, 56 rating, does the job. The match itself gets a 60 as well. Pretty good stuff. He beats Remy Honeyman by pinfall with the Fisherman Suplex, 60 rated segment. Superb wrestling, great heat, gets the job done. Nothing too much more really to mention with this one. I'm trying to really push our popularity of our top guys up so their ratings are just going to keep growing and growing, because Davis is definitely capable of getting into the 60s, 70s with his ratings. But a good win for him. And then, of course, up next, we have a huge, yes. This is what I'm talking about, baby. Massive match. Superb wrestling, great heat. The Blueprint defeat Miller Ford and the LA Stars in 16 minutes when Architect submits Miller Ford with a blueprint after interference from Sasquatch. But it's very important to note that during the match, we also had Sasquatch accidentally hit the Historian, which obviously isn't really going to go down well. But it's a win nonetheless for the Blueprint, with a big question mark on Sasquatch. He is a bit unhinged. He doesn't necessarily care from his whole sort of persona. He doesn't talk a whole lot either. He's more just, Architect points and Sasquatch goes and smashes it up essentially. But big match, storyline advances, creative finish was a success. The ratings are looking real nice here too. Sandman hits another 57. Miller and Historian into the 50s. Architect with a 68. The ever so consistent LA Stars also pulling in 60s, so 73 rating is huge. I think that's like on par with one of our best. I think now it's getting to the point Architect is in like all of our best matches, which is crazy how it's turned around to be like that, actually. Even when we did bring him in way back at the beginning, I knew he would be good, but not quite having this sort of influence. So our show increases popularity. We should, let's see actually, did we go up? We'll check here in a sec. Who could use this? rather than giving it to people with low morale who probably deserves it. You know what? We'll give it to Ant-Man. And we'll also give it to there's probably a few here because we had quite a lot in action. We'll give it. You know who we'll give it to actually? Who's always Mr. Consistent? Remy. We'll give it to Remy. Financial report. We made over 3,000. Obviously, our worker cost was way lower than the last couple months, without the influence of all the bigger names from other promotions. 6,500 ticket sales, so that's huge. In fact, we didn't go over finances for last month because we ended the episode and we went straight into this, but we did lose. Our first month on Wrestle World we lost 5k, but last month we only lost, I think it was 2.5, and it should be even lower this month because we haven't gave out any bonuses, and the tag team tournament participations are all completely gone now, so they're not being used at all. So we might make money for the last month of the year, maybe. Right, popularity, we go up. There we have it. Confirmed in writing. 34 to 35, we are officially small size. And just to put the icing on the cake, let's have a little look at the email. Which would, after having a little bit of a dip in popularity, we should definitely have a nice jump for the last show of the year now that we've hit small. Because obviously the company as a whole, yeah, there we have it. Our promotion momentum and prestige will have gone up now we've hit small. We got pretty much the same, a little bit less viewers. But yeah, I'll quickly show you guys the last month. So yeah, first month on Wrestle World, 5.5k lost last month, just under 2.5. But obviously the workers were a huge part of that. Which it should maybe be just about 8,000 again, maybe just a little less, but with everything else it seems going up, by 400-500 each month. Sponsors, merchandise, broadcaster won't, that'll stay about 4k. Ticket sales should go up. We should be close. It should be really close to making money and losing money, essentially. But yep, there we have it. Small size, 35 pop, 15 in the tri-state, Midwest, Mid-Atlantic. It's also spilling over into Canada because of Wrestle World. And now we have the long journey of 59 pop in the home region, and then 35 in any of the three that are 15 right now. So yep, the fun never stops, to be honest. But what's this? Your production department currently has warnings. Oh no. In fact, hold on. So okay, we have some changes. I do know our active roster needs to go from 16 to 20 when you hit small, which we are way over, so that's no issues. But I totally forgot that we now need 2 storylines. And our production department is getting warnings because we are... Who are we up against? Oh, I thought it was the big guys, but it's not. It's all the medium. But we're actually behind on a lot. I'm probably not, as you can imagine, with money. I am not changing it. But we'll just need to hope the penalty on our shows isn't crazy. It shouldn't be. We should still be pulling in the same numbers, but it's just another thing that's added into the game world now that we've gone up in size. I wonder if regional battles will be a thing now. I don't think they are. I can't remember. It's got to qualify. Wait, the list below shows the companies who currently qualify for regional battles. So yeah, I've never ever gotten a message about regional battles. So maybe it's not turned on or something. I hope it's not turned on, because look at this, we are losing bad. We're like 7th on the list or something, even lower than that, and that's within hours. Yeah, okay, interesting. But yeah, I'll need to try and work now on a second storyline. It will probably revolve around the tag team champs, but with the impeding debut of a new title, it'll probably revolve around our singles belts once we introduce our new one. But anyway, enough yapping. Let's get on to Kickoff Carnage 55. Okay, we're back. Big night tonight. It's our very last show of the year, last show of the episode, but of course it's our very first show on small size, and we have a nice jump. Almost 150 more. 948 people expected for the show tonight. There'll probably be some changes now in terms of people I can use, people I can't use. Now we're small size. So there'll be a lot to figure out, no doubt. We now have to run 2 storylines at any given time. So yeah, some definite changes for sure. Also, off camera. Oh my god, not again, and equipment sent to the wrong place. So we're going to get a small penalty to the overall show, which will be a penalty on top of the fact our production levels don't match our rivals, so that's going to be fun. Yes, so this is what I was about to say before we got rudely interrupted. So, booking team. Obviously, I know you can have up to 5 people on your booking team, but it turns out, after just testing it, my user character, who's the head booker, doesn't count as one of the 5. So, the referee we recently signed and Marvin, the play-by-play announcer, who both have very good booking skill, could both be assigned to the booking team, which is perfect. But the reason I ended up testing it is because they both, I noticed, had negative morale, and it was to do with this. So it turns out because I didn't have them on my booking team, they were starting to get upset and annoyed about it, which I don't know, I didn't even know that was a thing. And also, speaking of morale, I've also noticed Sasquatch McGraw has went from being annoyed to angry, which is like, that's when they essentially can, like, they're really close to being very angry and then they leave. And I don't know why. I've not even made him. This has all came from the fact I made him lose clean to Hangman ages ago, months and months ago, and he's just not got over it. I cannot seem to get his morale back in the green, and it's just starting to piss me off. It's not even annoying anymore. It's like beyond it. My morale is starting to go in the red because of Sasquatch, which was just worth mentioning since I noticed it off camera. So we got a couple finishes here. One safe bet, a mutant finish, David's Wayne finish. One of these gimmicks, good till March, perfect. Let's go with, we should definitely have Max, surely. Yeah, we're pretty much going to be maxed out every single show. Let's try get one more. Okay, one more. Safe bet for the architect. You know what, that works. Let's then go with character idea. A bit of a gamble. I don't really know if I want to use that. We're going to discard it. Character ideas are one of those ones you really don't want it to go wrong because it's a headache. Okay, we're going to just keep going because, yeah, like I said, we don't need to save any points. We're going to get 250 again anyway, probably. A bit of a gamble again. No, I don't think it's worth it. Okay, we don't have enough for anything else. Locker room. Hambone Freeman turned up. I think he's another rookie, isn't he? Yeah, rookie year 23. He has some menace about him. A lot of power, being 6'6", 300 pounds. That's about it. He's not great. Okay, he actually doesn't want to get used. I read that wrong. He just wants to hang out backstage, which carnival days? No, I don't know. It's probably not a bad. It has no natural impact on the backstage environment. But I don't know. I just imagine him coming with like something wild. No, sorry, man. Zippy. with a crate of beers for everyone. Free drinks, nice. Ellie Starr gives the locker room a lift with a series of spot on impressions. Zimmy trains the 7 students. The backstage rumour mill has it and has been in overdrive after Bowden Snoop and the architect apparently got into a heated argument. Oh no. That's a bit of a surprise because the architect's a professional and Bowden's relaxed. So that's okay, fair enough. Apparently David Swain Newton and Grace Harper had a blazing argument outside the venue. What the hell's going on? Okay, I mean, they're not great, but fair enough. Well, I think after that I think we'll just leave. We'll leave team bonding, I think, for now. Yeah, let's just go ahead and book the last show of the year. We do have Architect in action. I didn't mention it last show. I'm not going to lie, but since hitting Wrestle World and then being so close to small size, I've been booking the last couple shows on autopilot a little bit. Not really. Not that that's a bad thing. We've been getting good ratings, good shows, but I'm more just trying to get this year over with, hit small size, and then start from January with our new schedule going forward. But they will be in action, and of course the tag team champs defending against Minnesota Awesome will also be in action. So I'll be back in a sec. Okay, here we go. 929 people. Pretty huge. We have our one and only pre-show match here. We're pretty maxed out on matches. I actually need another road agent because we still only have one in Craig Prince. But if we want to do more pre-show matches, which I do, I I definitely need to get another one. But it's 2 tag teams, 2 pretty fairly unknown-ish but good tag teams, both coming off losses, and it's hot tags who take the win over Graham and Graham. Pretty good match overall. Definitely good enough to be on the main card, but just the way the booking worked out, it's fallen to the pre-show. They should still get gains being on the pre-show. I know it's not as good, but I'll need to maybe try and keep an eye on it just in case it's different on this version of the game than the last one. But then, next up, to start the show, we have Architect. He's in the ring with the boss man himself, Craig Prince. And Craig basically says to him, it's monumental times right now in PWW. We're here in front of a sold out stadium. Well, not sold out stadium, sold out audience. There's over 900 people in the crowd. PWW is really coming along, reaching milestones every single year. And to end the year, as you know, we like to bring in talent from other promotions to show their skills here in PWW and challenge our champions. Well, we're ending the year on a bang because we're arguably tonight Architect, and he's pointing to Architect, and Architect obviously he's looking a little bit sort of not worried, but he's obviously very curious because he likes to know everything that's going on. But he's also not that nervous because he's got backup. He's got a whole army behind him. The guy doesn't care. And Craig tells him, not only do you have arguably the biggest name to ever come through into PWW, but of course, ending the year on a bang, one of your hardest opponents to date in PWW. The music hits, and it's the one and only Jimmy Chipolata. Now, many people may or may not be familiar with Jimmy. He is very over, probably about as over as our best guys. He's like up there, but he's over everywhere in the world, and that's because he actually starts the game under contract with USPW, who, if you don't know, they're an American-based company. They're essentially the WWE of the Seaverse. They're huge, like Titanic in size, massive, so much money. And earlier this year, they randomly, for whatever reason, released Jimmy. They didn't renew his contract, and I kept him on my shortlist. and I was waiting till we moved up in size and until some of our workers caught up with him in popularity so that we could finally use him. And he comes out. We do have him on a handshake deal, but will it be the last time we see him? It'll more so depend on his performances. He's a very, very good worker, though. And of course, over, so the fans recognise him when the music hits and he comes out. You know, he's like fairly well known in America. So this is a pretty huge deal. And trust me, it's a huge deal for my bank account because this guy is not cheap. Not cheap at all. But good start to the show, 63 rating. Obviously, we're helped with architects. Hot catchphrase, his old school face gimmick, thank God, gets a great rating. With no pros or cons, I'll take it, honestly. That's fine. But the main event is made up tonight for the Great Lakes Championship. It's also announced while Craig was in the ring before Architect came out to find out his teammate or opponent for tonight, that next month on our first event, our first like pay-per-view or whatever you want to call it, like the first actual event that PWW is hosting, it will be debuting the PWW World Heavyweight Championship. So it's now officially confirmed, and starting next month up until then, the 4 TV shows we do, it'll essentially be qualifiers to see who'll be fighting in a fatal 4-way for our new belt. So huge of updates, biggest crowd, going up in size, big names joining, new belt coming. There's a lot. And the belt's unrevealed essentially in the ring. And then that's when he calls down Architect to find out his opponent for the night. I forgot to add in the little segment with the belt beforehand. But yup, pretty good stuff here. Even Jimmy's part does it really good. But yeah, solid as we move into our triple threat match. Honestly, this should have been on the pre-show, and the tag match should have been on the main show. But it's a domination, very one-sided. 7.5 minute win for Sasquatch. Yeah, not too much to mention on this. The dominance continues for the big man. Gets the crowd hotter. Does his job essentially with a 40 rating. It's important now to note we're 35 in size, so any match or angle that's under 35 needs to be really regarded as a loss. So the fact it's a 40, it's not amazing, but it's good enough. And you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. But Sasquatch really isn't improving. I don't know why. I need to. Maybe he's just not going to, but I felt like he would have. Once he gets pop, and he's classed as a major star, but his in-ring performances just aren't going along and increasing with his popularity. But we'll see. We have another segment here. It's we go improvised. It doesn't seem to have worked. Davis was very poor. Hudson struggled a little bit. And it's essentially Papa Soul and Davis in the ring. And they've basically been tasked with tonight to shine a little bit of light on our new guys that we brought in from Canada. It's turning into like a little segment of its own. And essentially Papa Swole will be teaming up tonight with the man he beat, Ant-Man. And they'll be going head to head with Davis in a new face Hudson Drake, which is coming up next. Pretty decent though, considering we get a 52 with these penalties. Ant-Man came across well. Papa Swole, the performance for him was good. Yeah, this is good. This is good. 52. Let's hope the match does pretty good. It should get carried to at least like a 50 with the likes of Papa and Davis in it. Yeah, 53. And that was with a failed creative finish that we had for Davis Wayne Newton. And as you can imagine or guess from the creative finish, it was Davis Wayne Newton and Hudson who pick up the win when Davis Wayne pins Ant-Man after illegally using the ropes for leverage. So it's a bit of a tainted / cheaty win. The ratings are of course dominated by Papa and Davis, 64 to 62. Ant-Man pulls in a 45, a 39 for Hudson. These guys will still be improving, but I like the look of them. They're both good on the mic, good in the ring, We just got to keep building them up. So we're giving them the rub from our major stars here. 53 ratings, not bad at all. Okay, let's keep it going. I'm hoping we get a decent rating even with all the penalties we're going to get here. It's our tag match though. And the Giant and the Dragon, obviously you can guess who those two are. Storyline has started, which will revolve around our tag team belts, and we'll probably have our second storyline be equipped to the tag team belts until the World Heavyweight Championship comes, and then we'll move it to the single belts that we have, the Great Lakes and the World Heavyweight. But there's a lot to digest here. Good wrestling, decent reaction. Dragon and Hangman beat Minnesota Awesome. Also, one thing to note that I love so much, and I laugh every time it pops up, is ever since pretty much Dragon and Hangman have been fighting for the belts and had the belts, every single time, whoever they're beating, I get the dialogue back when I'm booking the show that they want to complain, but they see the sight of Hangman cracking his knuckles and staring at them, and they don't do it. So I actually love it, because people don't want to lose to Dragon because he's not as important as Hangman is. But no one wants to complain about it. Wants to see Hangman. It's like Hangman is the big brother of Blue Dragon, like the big intimidating big brother. So when you get bullied at school and you bring your big brother in to like make sure no one messes with you, that's like the vibe it gives me. It's just, I find it hilarious. But anyway, it's Blue Dragon. Surprise, surprise. Gets the pin on Clark Smallbone with a Dragon Driver, following a botched interference though by the Historian. During the match, we also saw the Historian distract Blue Dragon, and Sandman Winks also distract Hangman. So essentially the past masters who lost in the tournament to Dragon and Hangman, which was obviously their big return, they beat them in the quarterfinals and went on to win the tournament. They're essentially trying to get their own back now, and they came out during the match to try and cause some havoc, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough, and defense number 2 has been made by the tag team champs. But of course, it's important to note, past masters felt like they had the belt in the bag, essentially, if they just got back up from Architect or Sasquatch, which they never did. And obviously, we found out later, Architect was essentially being selfish, keeping Sasquatch fresh for himself, in case he needed his help, which of course he did. He used it anyway, even if he didn't need it. 66 rating though, really good. Best match of the night so far. Moving into now best match of the night, we have Mutant and Logan. This is more of a filler match, to be honest. There's no sort of impeding storyline behind it. It's just a good match with two of our major stars. Logan beats Mutant by submission with the Boston Crab, keeps the momentum going. Of course, now with the announcement of the World Championship title, you already know people like Logan, or they're eyeing that up. You know, the biggest prize in the company is coming real soon, so they're eyeing up those elimination matches. They're going to be in there to get in that match, that fatal 4-way match, and this is a huge sort of boost for Logan. Defeating Mutant, 67 rating. I believe we are on to the main event next. I don't think I had another match after this. So Architect defending his belt against the new face Jimmy Chipolata, and we get a 77. Really nice stuff here. Superb wrestling, good heat. Architect defeats Jimmy Chipolata by submission with a blueprint after interference from Sasquatch, which is turning into the routine at the minute. Architect getting saved essentially by the Beast. Architect makes defense number 6 of the PWW Great Lakes Champion title, 77 rating. Success on creative finish. Jimmy debuts in ring with a 51, which isn't horrible. I feel like that'll go, maybe that should probably go up a little bit. We'll see in due course. Architect pulls in a 74. It's actually going to be really hard to go against Architect for back-to-back Wrestler of the Year, to be honest. He obviously started the year without the belt, and Papa Swole was on a storm. like on an absolute tear of everyone, and then Architect took it off him. So if it's not Architect that wins our Wrestler of the Year, I'll be very surprised, to be honest. The guy is crushing it. Okay, so we obviously our pre-show equipment, we had problems with that. Our show appeared worse because of the production levels and all the other, basically everything. Now this is actually really bad, and that's because we actually honestly would have gotten like a high 60 because of our main event. I think that's actually our best match ever, 77. So our overall show rating without any penalties would have been about probably 69, maybe even 70. So the fact it's 58 is so much lower. It's not even in the 60s. This is actually a problem. And as much as we can't afford to fix it, we don't make enough money yet. It's definitely something we're going to have to try and fix little by little, even if it's just one thing at a time, because it means less penalties. Because having all four is not going to work for our overall ratings. I mean, 58 is still huge. That's still more than good enough, but it's just annoying, isn't it? When you think about it, the fact it's a thing. Also, now the fact we're small size, we actually get 3 workers to single out rather than 2, which is huge. So I'm going to give it to Sasquatch because he's just being a pain in the arse for no reason, and it's starting to really annoy me. Hopefully it'll help. Probably not. We'll say great performance even though it wasn't, but whatever. Maybe it'll help. And we'll also give it to you know what, Ant-Man? I think no, he got it last time. Don't be greedy, Ant-Man. You don't need it. I'm trying to think who could really do with it. There's no one that really needs it. We'll just give it to the champ, you know what? Yeah. Seemed pleased. Everyone seemed pleased. Money wise, even with Jimmy Chipolato on the show, and 8,300 ticket sales, yeah, we make a bit. Our broadcast revenue seems to be going down every show, very, very, very slowly. Overall profits though are looking good. Popularity recap, we stay 35. Go up elsewhere, as expected. It's the end of the month. But yeah, we're not going to run over everything, but right before the episode ends, I think we'll just maybe go over creative and see what they're saying, who they regard as being our top guys. I think is a good idea. Yeah, viewing figures are 23,000. I think it's very, very, very slowly dropping, which is interesting. I would advance to the start of next month so we can see the finances, but I don't really want to see all the awards until next show. I don't want to spoil it. But your ticket sales have jumped up a lot. Just over 2,000. Broadcasting revenue, yeah, see, it's going down. Okay, fair enough. Sponsor merchandise is up. What is our merchandise level on right now? 65%. We should, when we get to level 5, we should see a pretty big jump up on that too, actually. Right, anyway, let's take a look. So titles, we now know, it's confirmed, the heavyweight title, our new main event title, will debut next month. What that means for the Great Lakes and the champion, well, you'll have to wait and see. But both of our titles, our mid-card, it'll officially be our mid-card really soon, the Great Lakes Championship. That's what our lower level guys will be fighting over. The Great Lakes Champion and Tag Team Champion is both 41 prestige, which is pretty solid. I quite like that they're both on par with each other, because now we've hit small size. When we create our new belt, it should be higher. It should be about 50 prestige, maybe even 60, honestly. So that's good. We also, like mentioned before about tag teams, we have more than enough. 10. We have 10 different tag teams. Some are more known as individuals. We'll just quickly browse through them. Cobra and Jules, of course, we made. They're rated as individuals rather than a solid unit. We have changed Dragon and Hangman to a unit for the moment. just so that the popularity gains are going to be equal when they win. Grim and Graham are 3-time ACPW champs. When we got Hall Property, they actually won the Mid Atlantic Tag Team belts, of course. We got Minnesota Awesome, 4-time IPW Hot Tags. They won the L Ring Tag Team Champions. LA Stars, 3-time New York City champs. We got the Past Masters. They won the Sam Keith Classic and Mid Atlantic. Verbo Slam, of course, we made Verbo Slam. Rated as individuals. We might change that to a unit actually. Maybe a good idea. And then we got, of course, Young and Wasted, FCW, which is the Puerto Rican company. So tag teams are looking healthy. We got a nice blend. A lot of these tag teams are young too. I think honestly, apart from Grim and Graham and maybe Cobra on his own, all of these guys are under 30 years old, which is pretty huge. And then, of course, Stables, the Blueprint. They're considered a hugely important part, and they're a red hot act right now. Yeah, see, as for this is the note I was talking about with the booking. He's irritated at disliking the choice of booking team, which I assume is basically his way of saying he wants to be on the booking team, I think. But yeah, I don't. Hopefully that just goes away soon. He is on the booking team now, so we shouldn't get that message anymore. Logan, of course, he has minor morale issues now. He's almost back in. We've almost got him out of it. A couple more levels. It's a real slug. I'm realizing morale issues is just a huge slug to get it back on good terms, and just for no reason at all. Even though it happened in April, he's still angry. I think once a year passes though, this goes away. I'm pretty sure. We'll need to see because April's not that far away now. But my God, it's just becoming a pain in my ass. I actually, since we're here, let me actually see his last couple matches. So with me, Sasquatch averages about 43. He actually fought Clark Smallbone in a tables match here. And he got a 43. What about this one? He got a 51 here, so he's definitely got it in the locker to do better than he's doing because he's not bad. Oops. Yeah, looking at this, he's not bad at all. He's got 69 hardcore, 63 brawling, 77 psychology. His fundamentals are all great. His selling's a little low, but even 69 isn't horrible for a guy like him. Like, so he's got it. He's got it all there. Obviously, he's lacking in performance, but he's like not bad at all. He's sitting on 38 pop with us as well. Obviously, his work in the other promotions is helping him all across America. He's been on the rise by like 1 or 2 points every single month everywhere for a while, which is pretty huge. Right, creative. I'm not going to go into this too much. I'll let you guys more just have a look. Papa Swole's on top. Jimmy jumps in at third. Doc is on the next big thing. Hot Prospect. Also, we got Doc in there. Taylor, Zippy, Marco. Talk the Talk is Papa Swole at number 1. The Doc's in there too. Tennessee William. Then we got Showstoppers. A real mix as well. Ring Generals, we got Jimmy, number 1. Sasquatch is in there at 3. So he has got it. He's got it in the locker to do way better. It says here he has exceptional consistency. So it honestly must just be to do with his morale. I know he doesn't have a great gimmick either. So that's going to maybe be something I need to look at. He is on the list. Logan apparently is the hottest guy we got going on right now. Davis is in there too. I'm surprised Architect's 4th, to be honest. Hangman's in 3rd. That actually makes sense. Him and Blue Dragon have been on fire since coming back and winning the belts. Jimmy, of course, is not hot because he's only fought once and he lost. Hidden Gems, I've seen all these. It's nothing new. But yeah, things are looking up. I think we'll end the episode here because I'm excited to get into the next show. It'll be new year, new schedule, new everything. we're probably going to be losing money again. We might even hit debt because I'm going to have to try and work out a production so that we can at least fix one or two of these if possible. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We're probably going to have to just take the hit for a little bit and ride it out. Which, I mean, that's all part of the fun on local to global. It can't all be easy, and it doesn't necessarily get easier as you go on and get bigger. Not at all. But we'll move on. I have a lot of stuff to do off camera with setting up our TV show and putting all our events into the system. But I will see you guys next episode where we kick off officially being small size in 2025.